The topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Ask the Expert Show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV, where we bring you educational information from experts on such topics as legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Now sit back and listen to our experts in community association law, estate planning law, tax relief, Medicare, public insurance adjusters, neuropathy treatment, business brokers, and personal injury law, along with many other topics. Now here's your host for the last 17 years, Steve O.
In Florida, welcome to another Ask the Expert show, where we bring you the finest experts in the field of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Hey, this is our Florida show today. Hey, we started off in South Florida with the show about a year ago. It became so popular that I came to Tom and I said, would you mind if we do your show throughout Florida? Because he actually, Attorney Tom Olson, does cover all Florida. The name of his firm is Florida Senior Planning. And I got to tell you, by the amount of questions that you're sending in, you must like the show. Tom, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Steve, to you and all of your loyal listeners out there. I'm Attorney Tom Olson. We're lawyers, Florida Senior Planning.com. We assist clients throughout the state of Florida, from the Keys to the Panhandle. We can help you, Florida Senior Planning.com.
You know, Tom, when you first came on, I was like, this guy is really good. He's got a good voice. He's got a good delivery. He's so knowledgeable. We knew that was going to happen. And then I find out he's been doing his own radio show for the last 40 years. Tom, you do such a great job on this show.
I appreciate it, Steve. I'm the host of the Olson on Law radio show. It is America's longest running legal radio show, every Saturday at noon. And you can listen to it at WDBO.com. You can listen to it live streaming, or if you like to listen to podcasts like I do, you can always get the podcast Olson on Law radio show.
Tom, I had a gentleman write us the other day, and he said, you know, I listen to podcasts all the time, even more than I ever listened to radio. And he said, I usually stay on for about 5, 6, 7 minutes, and then they start losing my attention span. He said, you have a show with this attorney, Tom Olson, that I almost don't get enough of. I thought that was the greatest compliment, Tom.
Steve, that is very kind of him. And by the way, we often thank our loyal listeners on our radio show, because we know that there are people that go out of their way every Saturday to listen to the Olson on Law radio show. And we are very, very grateful to our loyal listeners.
That's amazing how long you've been doing this. So, Tom, we've got all these new viewers now on TikTok, and I'm actually looking at, they get you. Gosh, I don't see how I'm doing this with no glasses, but in the left top corner of the show, it shows how many people liked the show, and you're already over 4,000 already. That
Yay!
blows my mind. I know we don't
nice.
get that with YouTube or anybody else, but I'm looking at TikTok right now, and we're one of the few live shows that involve education. But Tom, I got to tell you, we get so many people. This is our biggest question now. We get so many people who are moving down here from New York, New Jersey, and they're going to spend half of their time here in Florida and half of it in New York.
Yeah.
They want to know, do they get a Florida law firm like yourself or a New York law firm to handle
Well, Steve, let me point out a bigger difference. So, all you people that are spending half your time in New York and half the time in Florida, here's what you really need to know. Here in the state of Florida, every individual can pass up to $15 million free of death taxes, also known as estate taxes, also known as inheritance taxes. A married couple can pass up to $30 million free of death taxes. If you're a resident of the state of New York or New Jersey, they're going to start taxing your estate at $1. So if you want to avoid paying death taxes, estate taxes, inheritance taxes, you would be much better off calling yourself a resident of the state of Florida. That requires that you be here 6 months and a day. So that's critical. And if you want to be a resident of the state of Florida, yeah, you have to physically be present here, but you also want to get a driver's license, a Florida registration, etc., and be yourself a resident of the state of Florida. So once you're a resident of the state of Florida, even if you still own a vacation home in New York, for example, you're going to want to get your estate planning documents done here by an estate planning attorney here in Florida. Of course, we'd love for you to check us out, floridaseniorplanning.com. And Steve, did you understand what I'm saying about estate taxes and death taxes, how expensive it can be for people in the Northeast, and how inexpensive or can be actually $0 estate taxes if you reside in the state of Florida?
Absolutely. And Tom, also, since we deal with a little bit, older audience, more mature audience, people are very concerned about the cost of assisted living, home care, and they want to know how they can protect themselves.
Well, Steve, let's say one more thing about it. Here in the state of Florida, there's no income taxes either. Our Florida Constitution says no income taxes. So there's one more reason why people are moving to Florida. A lot of people from California these days are moving from Florida. So yes. No income taxes, no death taxes, great reasons to move to Florida. Steve, at Florida Senior Planning, we can help people to get up to 30 hours of free in-home care. It is meant to keep people in their homes and out of a nursing home. You get this free in-home care when you need it. This in-home care is for light cooking, light cleaning, activities of daily living, bathing, toileting, taking you to doctor's appointments. So if you're in your home in Florida and you say, I want to stay here, but I need a little bit of help, this in-home care program is called the waiver program. You're waiving the right to be in a nursing home, and instead you want to be in your home. This waiving program would be perfect for you. If you're helping to take care of one of your elderly parents, God bless you, but you need a little bit of help. You need to get your parents involved in this waiver program. Now, to start the waiver program, the first thing to do is the state of Florida will interview you. They will rate you on a scale of 1 to 5. 1 means you don't need it very much and you're not going to get it. If you rate a 5, well, it's like getting a Disney Fast Pass. They're going to put you to the top of the line. Before you get interviewed, Florida Senior Planning, we're going to coach you as to what those questions are and how you should answer them to be most likely to rate a scale of 1 to 5. So, Steve, when we get you this free in-home care for seniors, this waiver program, everything stays the same. You get to keep all your income, your pension, your Social Security. You get to keep all of your assets. Everything stays the same. And other than that, you get this up to 30 hours per week of free in-home care. So we're going to get you financially qualified. Now, while we're getting you financially qualified for this waiver program, also, well, if you ever did have to go into a nursing home, we're going to get you financially qualified for the state of Florida to pay for that nursing home. So, Steve, when your listeners are out there and they're talking to their friends, family, neighbors, coworkers, and they hear these words, oh, mom fell, she broke her hip. We thought she was going to go home, but no, she needs to go to a nursing home. That's $15,000 per month for a nursing home. Everything she's ever worked for down the drain. There's a 5-year look back period. Nothing we can do about it. No, we want you to know here at the FloridaSeniorPlanning.com, we have all the legal tools to protect your wealth from the cost of a nursing home and have the state of Florida pay for it. So keep that in mind, folks. We can do that we can do that planning in one of two ways. We can do pre-planning. So we set it all up so that if you ever need the in-home care or nursing home, it's all built in, ready to go. Your kids can focus on your health care. They don't have to worry about how they're going to pay for it. But we can do crisis planning too. People call us every week and say, Tom, mom's going into a nursing home. We need to do planning in the next 2 weeks to protect all our wealth from the cost of a nursing home. Yeah, we can do it that way too. FloridaSeniorPlanning.com.
You know, Tom, I got to tell you, just reading these letters, it seems like just coming down to a will that people really procrastinate. You know, there's a lot of people out there watching us now, listening to us now. Tell people the downside of procrastinating.
Steve, I'm going to make this broad statement, okay? I've been a lawyer for 45 years. Back in the early days, Steve, when mom or dad passed away, rare was the day that the kids would argue and fight with each other. These days, when mom and dad pass away, there's a 50% chance they're going to argue and fight, and there's a big percentage chance they're never going to talk to each other. So, by hiring FloridaSeniorPlanning.com, we're going to make things simple, easy, inexpensive for your kids to avoid probate, but also avoid the opportunity or the reason to be arguing with each other. So here's what I'm saying, Steve. When you come and get your estate planning done, your wills, living will, healthcare surrogate, financial power of attorney, that's part one. Part two is we're going to tell you how to avoid probate. There's some very simple tools you can use. So for example, if you've got 3 kids, you can make your cash accounts, checking, savings, CDs, money markets, make them POD, payable on death to your 3 kids. If you make your cash accounts POD for your 3 kids and you pass away, any one of the kids can show the bank or credit union or investment company your death certificate, and they will turn the money over to them, no probate required. Now, are you thinking, oh, well, the first kid down to the bank gets all the money? No. Any one of the 3 kids can show the bank or credit union or death certificate, and they'll write them 3 separate checks. They don't even have to talk to each other to get their money. Now, Steve, when we talk about going through probate, which we're always trying to avoid, one of these kids is going to be appointed as the executor, personal representative, and there's a good chance that that child is going to try and settle old score with the other kids. I'm going to get a call from one of those other kids. It's going to go like this. Tom, my mom died a year ago. My brother is the executor. I haven't heard anything. I haven't gotten an inventory. I haven't gotten any money. I don't know what's going on. Well, guess what? Now they're going to have to hire me to go in there and figure out this probate and get the brother going. So again, you want to avoid probate not only because it's expensive and takes a long time, but probate means there's a good chance your kids are going to argue with each other. So let's take all steps necessary to avoid probate. That's what we're going to do for you, among other things, at FloridaSeniorPlanning.com.
This is from Mark on YouTube. Thank you for such a great show. I'm wondering if I'm taken to the hospital in an emergency, how do they know what I've planned for?
Yeah. So, Steve, when it comes to health, there are 2 documents that we always do for people. They're very common. One is a living will declaration. It's what I call a pull the plug document. And the other is what's called a healthcare surrogate, where you're appointing somebody to decide what doctors, what hospitals, what medications. So if you're a single person and you got 3 kids and you've appointed your oldest daughter, Mary, to be your healthcare decider, you just want to let Mary know that, hey, if they ever take me to the hospital, make sure here's copies of my living will, here's copies of my healthcare surrogate. Make sure they got copies of these things right away. So, Steve, it's not like you're going to carry these things around in your wallet for an emergency purposes. The key here is that you have these documents, number one. Number two, they're at a place where your kids can find them when they need them. And number two, making sure your kids are aware that you have these documents so they can go get them and use them when they need them. Steve, when we do estate planning for people at floridaseniorplanning.com, we put everything in a white notebook. It's a great way to keep things organized, and we scan everything for our file. We put a scanned copy of everything on a thumb drive for the client, and we say, look, go home, tell your kids that you have these documents, tell them that they're in this white notebook, tell them where you're going to keep this white notebook, in your bedroom, your library, your dining room. And by the way, here's a thumb drive. Send all your kids an electronic copy of everything so they know what these documents look like and they know where they can get them when they need them.
This is from Trey in Delray Beach. What is the biggest myth about estate planning that you wish that more people would understand?
Steve, it would be this, that having a will has nothing to do with avoiding probate. A will simply directs what happens to your assets when they go through probate. Steve, I still have people that call me on my radio show and they'll say, Tom, I need to have a will because I want to avoid probate. Well, no, a will simply directs what happens with the assets when they go through probate. So a will is standard procedure. When we do estate planning for people, we always do a will for them, but we also go to the next level, the next step, and that is tell them to avoid probate. How to avoid probate? By making their bank accounts POD, payable on death. We have a great tool for avoiding probate on their home and other Florida real estate called a Ladybird deed. We can talk some more about that in detail. But they might say, well, Tom, why do I have to have a will then? Well, a will is a backup just in case you forgot to make one of your bank accounts POD. It's going through probate. It's going to be governed by your will, which tells the court how to divide that bank account up between your kids. But remember, probate on a $10,000 bank account is a lot less money than probate on a $500,000 bank account. So you're still ahead of the game if you make most of your accounts POD, but really, we want to make all of your accounts POD, payable on death.
Tom, you charge a little bit in a different way than most attorneys do. Can you share that with us?
Steve, here at Florida Senior Planning, everything we do is on a flat fee basis. And we do offer free initial consultation to talk about your estate planning. We can do that in person, over the phone, via Zoom. So together with the client, we will come up with an action plan. And we literally, once we agree on that, we put that action plan on a one-page piece of paper. And at that meeting, the client leaves with a hard copy of that action plan so they can go home and remind themselves what we're doing for them. That action plan is, once we agree on an action plan, we quote a flat fee. So Steve, for example, to do the basic 4 documents, will, living will, healthcare surrogate, financial power of attorney, do those 4 documents for a single person, it's only $1,200. To do those 4 documents for a married couple, 4 for him, 4 for her, it's only a total of $1,500. To do a Ladybird deed to avoid probate on your home, it's only $900. So Steve, our prices are very reasonable. So do not let the fear of what's going to cost you a fortune to get your estate planning done, because here at Florida Senior Planning, it's very reasonable. And whatever money you spend on us, your kids are going to make it back tenfold by avoiding probate and arguing with each other.
Tom, I got to say this. I know that you have made your father so proud of you, what you've continued on with the firm. And I got to tell you, and Tom's going to be back again with us next week. But I got to tell you, Tom, people love you. They love your show. And again, let's tell people about your radio show again.
So, Steve, the name of the radio show is Olson on Law. It's every Saturday at noon. You can listen to it live streaming at WDBO. And you say, what do those letters mean? Well, the It comes by way down by Orlando. That's how that call sign got built out back in the day. But Steve, thank you for those kind words. My father had been a lawyer in Orlando since the mid-50s. I had the pleasure of practicing law with him for many years until he retired. And Steve, people often ask me, Tom, when are you going to retire? I said, look, I am slowing down, but in the meantime, Steve, I'm teaching the next generation of lawyers here at Florida Senior Planning. We've got a whole new generation of young lawyers that we're teaching them not only about how to do this estate planning, but also how to give people great client service, Steve. And that's so important to us, that everybody walks out of our office thinking, wow, this was really a great experience. I understand what I did. I understand why we did it. And what they charged us was very reasonable as far as a fee was concerned.
Tom, thanks again. Have a wonderful, blessed weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, Tom. That's attorney Tom Olson, Florida Senior Planning. That's going to do it for us today. We'll be back again with you Monday morning at 9 a.m. More great experts. We'll see you on Monday. Everybody have a blessed weekend. We'll see you then.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in next week and every week to hear more from our experts on personal injury, insurance, air condition repairs, estate planning, Medicare, and many other topics in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. See you next week.